What's going on, guys? Brother Faris here, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can build sport-specific strength so you can be the fastest, strongest, most agile, powerful athlete on the field, court, or wherever your sport requires you to be. So let's get right to it. Now, in order to fully understand how to build sport-specific strength, we first need to take a look at all the different types of strength. The first type we're going to look at is absolute. Absolute strength is the total amount of weight that an athlete can lift. Think, for example, if somebody's deadlifting 800 pounds, that is a lot of weight. They have tons of absolute strength. And while absolute strength is good to have, it is always nice to see those numbers going up. Unless our sport requires us to lift tons of weight, whether we're into Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, or we're a strongman, for example, absolute strength is not going to matter that much in terms of carryover into our sport-specific strength. Now, the second type of strength we're going to look at is relative. Relative strength is the total amount an athlete can lift relative to their body weight. So in other words, it is absolute strength divided by your body weight. Let's go back to the example of somebody deadlifting 800 pounds. So there's two athletes here. Athlete 1 weighs 400 pounds. They're deadlifting 800 pounds, which is super impressive. But then there's athlete 2 who only weighs 200 pounds. And they're also deadlifting 800 pounds. Athlete 2 is half the weight of athlete 1, meaning the strength to body weight ratio on athlete 2 is insane. They have very high levels of relative strength. And relative strength is so important because that's what allows us to train all other aspects of sports performance. Your change of direction, speed, agility, helps with coordination. It is so crucial if you want to become the best athlete that you can be. The third type of strength we're going to look at is functional. Functional strength is essentially that bridge between relative and sport specific. It is the amount of strength that an athlete can use on the field. It allows them to apply that strength, that relative strength, in order to put it into a sport or a skill to improve performance without actually doing anything sport specific. Now, in order to improve your functional strength, you need to be doing functional training. And one of the biggest benefits from functional training are the neuromuscular adaptations on our body. That is essentially the coordination of our brain sending signals to our muscles in order to perform a specific task. And yes, we will see neuromuscular adaptations through all other training methods, but it is far greater in functional training. And the better your neuromuscular coordination is, then the better your muscles are going to be firing and working together in order to perform that specific task. You will essentially be getting stronger without getting bigger or heavier. That's why you see quarterbacks slinging the ball 70, 80 yards, even though they don't have huge arms or shoulders. Or soccer players that are kicking the ball all the way across the field with accuracy, even though their legs aren't super huge. It is because they have very high levels of functional strength. And finally, we have sport-specific strength, which is using the strength that we built here and turning it into that specific skill. And this is done by utilizing sport-specific exercises that closely mimic the sport-specific skill that you are trying to improve your performance at. This can be anything from swinging a baseball bat, throwing a football, diving, sprinting, whatever your sport requires. So now that we've covered all the different types of strength, we need to look at how to develop that sport-specific strength. And keep in mind, when I talk about specific, I'm not talking about the skill. I'm talking about the sport-related exercises that will enhance your performance of that specific skill. For example, if you're a soccer player and you need to get better at kicking the ball, then just go kick the ball. That is a skill that needs to be trained. Here, I will speak about the exercises that will enhance your ability to perform the skill needed in your sport. Now, first things first, you need to build a strong base of strength. Before you get very specific and special with your workouts, you will benefit greatly from just being general and building that strong foundation for your body to work off of. So the first phase of development is general, where we focus on building strength in the foundational, most basic movements of human performance, such as squat, hinge, push, pull, rotate, carry. These are things that we do every single day in our daily lives, whether we're aware of it or not. Me just standing here at this whiteboard, I've already rotated a dozen times. So you want to build strength in these foundational movements first, which if you're in the gym, I'm sure you're probably doing. Squatting, obviously some squats are going to benefit that. Hinging, such as a deadlift or a hip thrust pattern. Pushing, bench press, vertical press. Pulling, such as pull-ups or some bodyweight rows, bent over rows. Rotating, things that we are working in the transverse plane. Carrying, things such as a double arm or a single arm carry. All of these things, building strength in that will help us in the next phase, which is the special functional phase, and that contains movements such as proprioception. This is the neural language of functional training. It is essentially how the body reads information and provides the nervous system with feedback on what the body needs to do next and where the body is in space. Level change. Level change are movements or exercises that lower or raise the body's center of mass. This can be through the trunk, lower extremity, or a combination of the two. And this is also something that we do every single day. Even if I drop this, for example, and go to pick it up, that is essentially a level change. Or same, if I were to step up onto something and bring my center of mass higher, that is also a level change. Level change is something that can be trained in the gym through things such as step-ups, high to low rotational chops, low to high rotational chops. But the fact of the matter is, this is something that is always occurring in sports, so it's important to train it not just for performance, but also has some injury prevention benefits. Next on this list are the multiplanar movements. There are 3 planes of movement: the sagittal plane, which divides the body into left and right halves, the frontal plane, which divides the body into front and back, and the transverse plane, which divides the body into top and bottom. Multiplanar movements are classified as any movement that is done in multiple planes of motion, and this is also something that is constantly happening in sports, from changing directions to cutting, accelerating and decelerating. This is something that must be trained if you really want to be performing your best. And finally, stability. A lot of people think stability is just you standing on one leg and trying to keep balance, which is not necessarily true. Stability is your ability to control your body position from head to toe through movement. And you must be able to improve your stability through every single plane of motion. Functional training must concentrate on stability. That way, proper athletic positions can be maintained and you can apply force into the ground and use the kinetic energy throughout your body. Now keep in mind, when it comes to functional training, it is not necessarily evaluated based off of number. It's not like a bench press or pull-ups, for example, where if you know your number is getting better, then you are getting stronger. Functional training is mainly evaluated based off of movement quality. Alright, so now that you've built that strong foundation from that general strength, and you're moving and functioning well from that special strength, it's time to move into the last stage of development, which is that sport-specific strength. So the sport-related exercises are meant to be very specific and closely mimic the sport skill that you're trying to get better at. Sport-specific training includes many exercises that are appropriate during the later phase of training when specific strength is developed. It attempts to rehearse the sport skill with some light resistance. Examples of sport-specific drills include resisted running with the band, pushing a sled, swinging a heavy bat, kicking with a light resistance band, and more. Now, can you just skip all of this and go right into those sport-specific drills? Absolutely, but you may not have that strength or coordination to benefit as much as you can from it. That's why I recommend you build that strong foundation and improve your movement quality. That way you get the absolute most out of those sport-specific drills. Well, there you have it, guys. That is how you can effectively build sport-specific strength. Be sure to like this video, comment down below if you have any questions. I know this is a lot and it's pretty complex, but I'm here to help. Share this with everybody else that you think can benefit, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm going to see you all soon.